I think we have all been wrong about this specific character. The Tears of the Kingdom gameplay has really shown off so much, answered so many questions, but more than anything, it has raised a lot of questions. For this specific video, I want to talk about why I think this gameplay has really made me change my mind about who I think this is. So many of us has wondered who this is, why they showed them, and of course, as Zelda fans, we did what we do best, and we speculated about them. Many people, myself included, thought that this was in fact the goddess Hylia herself, and that this other character was Zelda. But after reviewing the new gameplay for multiple hours, I'm thinking that we were all wrong. To start off, let's fast forward from the announcement trailer and go to the gameplay that we just got. One thing that is clear is that this gameplay footage for Tears of the Kingdom was filled with symbolism and things they didn't show. And in that same light, these older Tears of the Kingdom trailers were also filled with symbolism and things they didn't show as well. I think what they've done so well with each trailer is making them vastly different. The 2019 trailer made everything feel so mysterious and dungeon crawly, and obviously brought huge excitement as Ganondorf the man is seen, and you know, this is the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Then the 2021 trailer brought back the exploration feel of Breath of the Wild and showed how it would work in Tears of the Kingdom. The name announcement trailer showed a pretty long sequence of a character we have never seen before, and one we can only assume was Zelda. While the last trailer was way darker, we heard the voice of one we can only assume is Ganondorf, some new enemies, and we just seen how evil Ganon was. And then watching the gameplay that IG Alnuma just played, he showed obviously how the game plays, how it feels to use some of the abilities we have, and it's easy to just get lost in that and not remember that we've already seen so much in these other trailers. But if you watch this new gameplay with the perspective and memory of the stuff we've already seen, it makes you piece stuff together and really see some things that were subtly shown off before. And clearly in this new gameplay, they never mentioned this character at all, so you may be thinking, how in the world do you think that this gameplay showed that this is not Hylia and that this is in fact a different character? And to answer your question, it all starts with the Zonai. And odds are, if you're watching this video, you've probably kept up with a lot of Tears of the Kingdom news, and you'll probably have heard the term Zonai before. But for those of you who haven't, all we really know about them is that they were a mysterious race that seemed to just vanish. And the only reason we even really know about them is because of the architecture they have left behind in Breath of the Wild, as well as some armor that you can get. And I think it's very, very important to mention that it never says that they died. It just says that they vanished. With that in mind, if there's one thing that the gameplay demonstration shows off even more, is that the Zonai have a clear purpose in the Sky Islands, and since the construct enemies are also on the ground, they apparently also have a clear purpose in the game as a whole, even on the land of Hyrule. From the constructs themselves dropping Zonai charges when they die, to the clear Zonai structures throughout the trailer, it just concretes even more that they will play a pivotal role in the game. And really, I'm glad that they will, because there is so much mystery that is shrouded around the Zonai in Breath of the Wild that if you never got the barbarian armor or never really deep dived into the Faron region's architecture, as well as some others throughout the Breath of the Wild map, you wouldn't even know that they were a thing in the game at all. And with that in our memory, let's take a look at who we thought was originally Hylia. Obviously, this is a creature none like any creature we've ever seen before, especially in the Breath of the Wild universe. And that's really the key here. The ears are so different, the attire they are wearing is super different as well, the face looks vastly different, and it makes me wonder if maybe this is a helmet or mask, as we did see a lot of the helms in Breath of the Wild, or if maybe it's actually what they look like. And one thing that really stands out is these swirls around the edges of the character. After the scene of the fight between the enemies and bokoblins and goblins, the camera zooms out on the same character sitting on a platform, arms stretched out, tears around them, clouds in the sky, Zonai architecture around them, writing which we've seen throughout the entire game, and on the new OLED as well as maybe the weirdest thing to me, the lines flowing down as if it's raining. And this could just be a depiction of radiance or to show that this is a powerful being, but we'll get more into that later. And one thing is clear, right? This is a radiant being of some sort. You don't just show a character like this in super crazy attire standing elevated on a platform, arms stretched out, just for them to be some random character, especially in the trailer that they did drop the name for Tears of the Kingdom. And I think that's why a lot of us did assume this was the goddess Hylia, because of the excitement of the name drop. This is a huge character, obviously. We went super deep divey rather than realizing what was right in front of our faces. I think who we're seeing here is not Hylia, but instead is a godlike being for the Zonai. And guys, they've done everything but just scream the word Zonai in our face from the first trailer until now. From the swirly green aura in the first trailer to the Sky Islands up close with the yellow trees, and Numa made the point to mention we would not see on the ground of Hyrule, Zonai will be in this game in some way, shape, or form. And it makes sense, right? Here's a game in a world we already know. How do they freshen it up? Introduce a super mysterious race in a super mysterious realm with a super mysterious creature. You don't just start out an entire trailer with this being shown at the beginning explaining if they do not have significance. And in the very next trailer, for a split second, we see another character who is glowing with radiance. And I think here a lot of us were like, yes, this is definitely Hylia. This is Hylia in the flesh. But look at this character's dress. This is clear Zonai aesthetic. We even see the tears that were shown from this character on there. I think who we're seeing here is the exact same character we seen in the name reveal trailer at the beginning. Also, look behind this character. While it's not much, it does seem to be a Sky Island looking setting, as we do see a lot of these gray concrete structures on the Sky Islands. It then shows Link shaking her hand with this new Zonai style hand that somehow got merged from holding Ganon to Link's arm. There's a reason they're not showing the character's face here. They're keeping so much a secret for this game. And I think one of the reasons the gameplay that Aonuma did play made me realize, okay, this is probably a Zonai, was this scene right here. He slowly pans over to the Faron region, and we see the lightning storm cloud we have already seen hovering above the Faron region. Now, the Faron region is super important because it is where tons of Zonai architecture is left behind, and really one of the only concrete evidences we have that the Zonai were a race at all, other than the barbarian armor that you can get, which I mentioned earlier. Nothing is shown without a meaning most of the time in these trailers, and there is a clear reason why in the name reveal trailer they show Link in the Faron region jumping onto a rock that fell and seeing the lightning storm. And you may be thinking, okay, Dusty, what the heck does a lightning storm have to do with the Zonai or with this godlike being of the Zonai creature? I don't understand. And I think that's because a lot of us have brushed off this lightning storm Sky Island as just being another trial or something crazy for the game, not really anything of significance. But I think we can find the answer to why this lightning storm is important in the name reveal trailer. These lines could represent rain falling around this being. And in the gameplay trailer, you can see the inside of this rain cloud is a Sky Island with structures inside. And this part may be a stretch, but what is one thing that rain and tears do have in common? Water. Maybe there is such a disruption between this character and the storm that could symbolize the tears of the kingdom that we have to restore Hyrule with to calm this storm cloud where this being resides. I don't think Nintendo would just show us this storm cloud above the Faron region where tons of Zonai remnants are, all the while screaming Zonai at us in every other trailer, especially the gameplay, just for it to be there. And really, if you think about it, the entire name reveal trailer started with a lot of time devoted to this specific character and this prophecy, or whether it was a painting of the past. Then in that same trailer, they make it a point to show Link doing what we now know is his recall ability for the first time, where? In the Faron region where the storm cloud is. They could have shown Link riding this boulder upwards anywhere they wanted. But they chose here. And guys, even after it shows this character at first, we see the first scene between the who I thought were Hylians at first and the Bokoblins and Moblins. But considering everything else throughout these trailers has shown Zonai, I'm wondering if maybe this isn't the Zonai fighting these enemies. Their facial features do resemble this being if it were turned sideways, specifically the nose. And in the tapestry that Impa tells us about in Breath of the Wild that happened 10,000 years ago, I couldn't help but notice there were clear Hylians in this scene, as well as this random race who doesn't look like Hylians at all. Now, if the Zonai are an ancient race and then vanished years ago, which they are, it makes me wonder if maybe that's who we see here. And I mean, it's clear that at some point they did dwell with the Hylians since their remnants are there, so it really wouldn't be that far of a stretch to say they were around at the same time of this calamity 10,000 years ago. The ruins do look pretty old, and especially the barbarian armor you can wear looks super prehistoric, which only further pushes me to believe they could be in this tapestry that took place 10,000 years ago. Now that we can assume this is a Zonai being, let's attach that to this scene of what many people can believe is Zelda and this being cupping hands. It's very obvious that this symbolizes the Ouroboros logo we get here in the name reveal, and I just want to point this out if y'all haven't paid attention to this before. The Ouroboros logo is not one singular snake eating itself as it is usually depicted. Instead, this is two dragons eating each other. And really, this makes so much sense if this is Zelda and this Zonai creature coming together to unite as one. I think they're really playing on two realms becoming one in this game, which would explain why Zelda says, please lend him your power in this past trailer. Everything seems to be working towards a super crazy Zonai story that we have no idea what it is because it is fresh. Although this is a sequel to Breath of the Wild, there is still so much we have yet to find out, even just about the Zonai alone. Drop in the comments who you think this is, if you think this is a Zonai creature, if you think this is Hylia herself. I'd love to see what you guys think. Like this video if you liked it, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any more content. You guys have an amazing day and God bless.